So there's a couple things here that are very clear, and you'll see them, and you probably already know most. But then there's a couple things to understand about these things, like that I've learned, that I've found helped me a lot. And one was that I realized when events come up, like holidays that can stir up old memories, or other types of things like holidays and Valentine's days and things like that. My divorce is on Valentine's Day, so I think about that every single Valentine's Day, and which is always weird, but that's our story. And when I realized that, I built a special allowance into my life about knowing that when these things come, I'm going to be inundated, sometimes deluged with unwanted, intrusive memories or feelings that are going to come from those memories then, because there's something that's true. We know this. There's something about spending time, and this is working in with your manifestation app. This is deeper level stuff, but there is something to, there's a trigger, a stimulus. Remember the identity pathway, the little explosion at the top? There's a stimulus or an event that occurs. This is the time to look at that, because this is directly applicable to radar. And what you're talking about is triggered or unasked for thoughts and memories as it relates to different things. Like, these aren't things that you want, but they're really difficult, and you're being inundated right now by them. And so when we recognize, one, there are triggers, and it's called a date on the calendar. It's called an event where I'm going to court. It's this thing. It's a stressor. You can identify it and say, that is the thing that's my stimulus right now. That's what I'm reacting to. Now, I can look at that and go, that thing is what it is. And I can acknowledge that I bet not everyone responds to the same thing the way I do, but I bet a lot of people do, and yada, yada. So it's something that's not super unique to us. It's really important to know that what is happening to us is not unique to us. Why do you think that is? What if we think it's unique to us? What is the danger?
I guess that if it's just me, then I think it would be harder to accept that if it's just me that's going through this. If it's happening to a lot of people, or it's easier to accept.
Easier to
I'm
accept.
not the only one going through this.
That's right. Here's the big thing that comes up, and this is more prominent in men than it is women. Self-pity is born. That's where self-pity is born. Right in the middle of, why me? Because we think we're unique to the situation is unique, or we're cursed in some kind of special way. I don't think that we consciously necessarily think that. I think we feel it and we operate in that until we become aware of it. And now we call it out like it is, and we have a little conversation about it and laugh about it and tease about it, going, okay, this is what is going on. This is the stuff that shows like Seinfeld exploit to be funny. These underlying deep-seated identity, insecurity, all these things. And it comes to do with an event on a calendar. Not everyone responds that way, but a lot of people do. So I'm not a total pariah, and I'm not, whatever. So if that's the case, it's a thing. Now, this is what happens when I think of those things. And then I think about those things, and then what do I do when memories come up? I immediately go into a story mode of what those memories mean, but I start feeling something first. The memory makes me feel something. And then after I start feeling it, the self-talk story starts. That's the order this occurs. You can reflect on this. This is like the human self. And when you are going through that, it goes memory, then it goes feeling into the body, and then you don't like that. And then we start telling a story in our head, and then it just perpetuates down, and we continue that cycle, making our day and then our week or two worse and worse and worse, all the while toward an event that has not occurred yet. when I talked about the manifestation map, negatively using the imagination forward to assign a negative outcome and then feed back negative real feelings. Those are real feelings you're feeling.
Mhm.
That like is legitimate and as valid as can be. Because if you keep feeling that way, I guarantee you're going to get sick. You'll get depressed, you'll get an ulcer, you will start seeking medicative relief or whatever. Some kind of like relief, like I got to get rid of this. And it all
Mhm.
started because when the trigger happened, that happens to everyone, it triggered memories, and you didn't have a defense system and an offense system to handle that memory, move it on from your life, reject it, let it roll off of you without any emotional involvement whatsoever, and you stayed focused directly on your centeredness, where you're going, your strength, your calm, your relaxed, your cool. That's what radar does right there in the moment of those times. The important thing to know is that these things are common to everyone and that you do have a choice when those memories come up. All that process that occurs in you around this right now is the dogma delta in your life.
Mhm.
That's it. It's in the flesh. I don't know if you wrote any of it down. I don't know if you recorded it out loud, but if you can catch yourself in a bad space and dare to hit record on your voice note on your phone or a video of yourself. I've done that. Wow. You don't release those to the public too fast. But you do it because you can literally get a grip of the part of yourself that you don't like that's giving the message.
Mhm.
You don't beat yourself up for this. You honor yourself. You show the same grace that the Lord shows you while you're working through this, because what you're doing is this is where it comes into snuffing out your sabotage. The hidden sabotage comes out of our mouth because everything we do, Bible says, flows from our heart. So if the heart doesn't have all that clean water yet, we're still pouring in clean water. In that muddy vat, right? We're pouring in clean water and it's spilling over and it's recycling. Where you are right now is perfect in your process. In case you didn't know that, I want to tell you that.
Really?
You are perfect. And you want me to prove it? I'll prove it to you. I'm not just saying that to make you feel good. I'm also saying it to make you feel good. But there's the truth. I don't blow smoke up people's skirts. I say that to everybody, and I say it before I close a deal, and I say it after the deal, and I say it after we're friends hanging out in the backyard. I'm not going to blow smoke up your skirt. With me, I will be gentle at times. I will sugarcoat the truth at times. I think that's really Jesus-like. But I'll never say something to you if it's not real. And in this one, you showed back up tonight is the first proof that I know that you're perfect in your process, because this was an opportunity tonight to let the performance dip. This was an opportunity to let the weak win.
Mhm.
WEEK and the WEAK inside of you. It was the
Mhm.
opportunity to let your circumstances, the dogma delta of your world, to let them win, to let it win. And you didn't. You showed back up here. You have a good attitude. You're presenting the problem, and I don't hear any whining either. All this is proof. So Don taught me really fast. He was the first person who ever taught me this. He's like, when you show up, there's nothing wrong with coming with a complaint or coming with this thing is a problem in my life. Try not to have an attitude of complaining. But when you come, here's the most important part. Have a good attitude as much as you can, optimistic and solution oriented, and offer a solution. Offer something that you think could make it better, and then let your mentor and coach shape you up. Like I was thinking this, it shows that you're trying to think out of it rather than just submit to it. That makes sense?
Yeah.
And if you knew how to think out of it at week 4, 5, at week 5, the beginning, you wouldn't have needed me in the first place, and somebody would be coaching with you on this. You're perfect in your process. You're not supposed to know yet. You're supposed to, by this point, this shouldn't feel foreign to you, what I'm saying. This should feel like reinforcing, reminding, and encouraging. That's what it should feel like. Tell me what it feels like.
It does. I look forward to, I guess, I really look forward to any interaction. I look forward to our nights and our discussions and learning the process with you. I look forward any interaction. I think I really have a problem just being alone in my own space because
Yeah.
that's where I am a majority of the time. Like I work remote, so I'm not. Although I did go to the office today, I recognize I really have a problem in my own area, which I know a lot of people are like, that's when you can really get the most done. And right now, I'm just unsettled with that mode of, I'm looking to like mask my hurt, mask my pain by interacting with people and getting out and not having to really have these thoughts continue to pop up and continue to address it, move on from it, write about it, and squash it. Um, and it's like all day long, it just keeps coming up, coming up, coming up, and I get busy in work, goes away. I try to listen to some music, goes away. A phone call, but it's like idle time. It's right back in there, and I'm like, you know, I don't want you in there. You're not living in this space anymore, and identifying it, but it just continues, and so I think some of that is where my progression is to be really like you were saying, needy, pity, but just to be around people is my own medication.
Yeah, it's oxygen to about half the population. Personality, temperament wise, I've done training at this at a corporate level. Being around other people, 50% of the population, no matter what other type of temperament, they like it's lifeblood for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for me. I don't want to work around anybody. But for me, I sometimes love it being around others. So I go to Starbucks. So I'm around other people, but then I got the noise cancellation in my music and I work. And that is really invigorating for me because I thrive off the energy of the room at that point. It's nothing crazy. It's just other people buzzing around. And I'm here all the time, right? Too.
Yeah.
So I don't, thinking about that, have you thought about being able to incorporate some things where you can get around people? Have you looked at the possibility of co-working space? That's a little bit extra money right now, and that might not be the timing for that. But
Mm-hmm.
things like that.
Um, I haven't really thought about it too much. No, honestly, I did go to the office today, but it was I didn't know anybody. Well, I knew a few people, but I mean, it's pretty empty still. So yeah, the local Starbucks is really small, but it's an idea to start thinking about. Yeah, just to get out and a breakfast diner or something. Just
Dude, yes, yes. Yep. If and especially if you can work from your computer, you got hotspot and all that, you're covered. Going down to the Apollo Beach Preserve or whatever might be close to you that's on a water. I like to go and with my laptop, I'll take the Jeep, drop the top down, and then I'll go and find some offshoot little place up and down 41 somewhere, all the way down to Sarasota, because with the kids, and I find these little spots. Addison told me about this one by her college, so I went and found a little offshoot road, and there was a little playground and a little bit of an access to the bay down by Sarasota. And it was like totally private. No one was there. It wasn't like beachable necessarily. You could walk on a little bit of sand, but go there, laptop, sit outside, journal, just to break up that routine, even get work done just sitting in the car in a different environment, letting the breeze of outside blow through, especially right now, winter, 80-degree days. This is
mhm,
the land. This is the land of perfect right now.
yeah.
Kinda. Yeah. Those ideas are really good because I would not overlook that. Like if you're feeling starved in certain ways or parched, I like to use the word parched because you're parched for human energy. You're parched for maybe a conversation with someone who serves coffee, another human being out in public. Yeah, getting out, especially a couple days a week, dude, 2 days a week, that you'd be surprised at what that does to your cup. Fills it up.
Mhm. Yeah. I never realized that I was that much of a or that was ingrained in me, but I mean, for years and years, I was like loving the idea of not working in the office, like you said, like work at home, and but I still had a family, and now it's my home is just me.
Yeah.
So it's a different scenario, but yeah, I was just I'll give that some thought on where I can go to tie into some interaction.
Let me ask this. Let's shift the gear a little bit and take a big breath. Let that out easy. Do one more. I'm going to ask you a question. No shame, no judgment. I want you relaxed, open space. And just think about it in terms of just a black and white, objective sort of whatever it is, it is. 0 to 10 in the last week regarding the meditative practice, using the map, trying to practice sitting down in the dark with some music, short minutes, getting a practice of visualization going, turning it into a feeling, turning it into something that we repeat and we focus on with intensity and persistence of our faith. In terms of that, you can use decimals if you'd like. What score would you give yourself for the last week?
1 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Probably honestly 4.5.
Okay.
I
Hold on.
mm,
What was that practice week 1?
non-existent.
So don't forget that as you get ready to finish saying what you're going to say.
Yeah. I went in the closet, laid on the floor. That wasn't really working for me. um, I find my space in my bed early morning when I'm waking up or not asleep or else going to bed. Kind of those two scenarios where it's dark and quiet and relaxed, and I can kind of find that headspace for going through defining, seeing, feeling, refining it. Um, like you, I'm always kind of like wondering, well, not like you, but I'm kind of wondering, questioning, like, okay, I've done this scenario. Like when I pray, I try not to pray the same way every time. Like every day's different. Something's hitting you in a different way. So try to talk to the Father, like with thanks first, and then what's weighing on me and what I could use help with, strength, trust and faith in what your plan is for me. So like that with the map, I'm going through it and I kind of go through the same scenarios, but I'm like doubting questioning, like, am I doing this? Is this working? Is this manifesting? Is this where I'm supposed to be? Is this the headspace? Because honestly, a couple years ago, I'd be like, "What are you doing? What do you think this is going to accomplish?" And I'm trying to be in the moment and realizing, like, this is a change. This is something I'm embracing and I'm focusing on, and it's for the betterment of my life. It's for everything. It's just a new outlook. It's a new process for me. It's like putting your underwear on last for me right now. It's like putting your pants on, then putting your underwear on. It's like backwards. It just seems a little odd. Something's off, and
That is
so
an
I'm
excellent
I'm still
analogy.
grasping. I'm still something's not right here. Something is off.
By the
Or
way,
just,
do you mind if I use that in my emails to my list?
of course.
All right,
Yes.
I'll say like Nicholas says. At least the first time I'll give you credit. After that, I'm just taking it.
So that's the process as I'm going through it. Like I said, I tried to do the closet, and maybe it wasn't a good. I wasn't relaxed. I was just kind of rushing through it. It wasn't probably a good scenario. So I'm trying to find those
Yep.
moments where I'm relaxed and refreshed enough to give a decent attempt of going through the process and visualizing.
Well, very
Um,
good. I think it's a great start
mhm.
because you totally did it.
I'm trying to get smells, the feels,
Dude,
this is here, this and that, and I'm trying to like feel it, like we talked about, like, and sometimes I can turn it on and feel it, and sometimes I'm just like,
yeah, yeah,
kind of, not to say mailing it in, but like I'm I'm not really there, so I'm trying
yeah,
to get my head around finding a good groove to get into and
yeah.
start going through it. Now, I'm just doing like a typical day of where I want to see myself, like professionally, not tied to my desktop, not tied to my computer, being with the boys, able to come and go. I have a nice home environment. Something's baking. The boys are coming home for dinner. I have a loved one here. I'm still not sure what she looks like or anything, but I do have somebody here that, I see the back of her or I see the side, silhouette of her. Um,
What color is her hair?
uh, Brunette.
You knew that. Does she have fair skin or is she dark?
Oh, fair.
Like
So
actual.
I'm trying, like, yeah, that's the one. Like, do I go into what she would look like, what she is, or what? Is
All
that
the
really
above that's coming into your heart.
okay?
It really is. It really is the way it works when it's
Mm,
on purpose. Remember, you've been doing this your whole life already. You just didn't know it. I
mm,
promise you, what is in your life, what was in my life, you've played a significant part in attracting. I said it like that. I don't think
mm,
that every single thing that our life is our fault. I don't think that way. It's not.
mm,
Our life is the fruit of what we've done with what's come into our life. And that comes from our thinking and our awareness level at the core.
mm,
That's why habit change doesn't work without thinking change. It never will. It'll never last. That
mm,
habit will go away if you don't change your thinking about it. If someone did something, we have a friend. My wife's got a friend. She was a heavy girl for her whole life. She hasn't been heavy in 3 or 4 years. Does
mm,
bodybuilding on stage now. Hasn't gone back. I don't know if she lives extremes or not. I don't think she does. I think she lives relatively moderate from what I understand. And her mindset changed in order to keep 100 or 150 pounds away forever and not
mm.
go back to it. It's huge. Literally, no pun intended. But I will say, this is it. The things that matter to you are probably what God is giving you in terms of your life's coming attractions. Remember that?
Mm,
The previews of your life's coming attractions. Well, this is really important to you. You just described a home life. That's really important. And it's anchored with the one that's anchored with you in God, her. So I say, without getting, it's like, it's a special thing to not be attached to an outcome and want it real bad. Like, that's not easy.
yeah.
But you're not attached. What you fall in love with is the attachment of that you're getting what the Father has planned for you. I think it was Luke 11. Every good gift comes from the Father above, right? So if we are earthly fathers, and though we are evil, if our son asks us for a fish, who will give him a stone? If he asks for some bread, who will give him a snake? And we're evil. How much more does the Father want to give us the good gifts? And this really matters to you. And I can assure you, when you start pouring your spiritual energy and seeking Him and saying, Lord, help me figure out what she looks like. And then you start playing with that in your imagination and in your prayer life. And then a shape starts taking form, a visual starts taking form. I assure you that is literally co-creation with God.
Mm,
That's it. That's the process. And when you begin doing it on purpose, instead of attracting all this negative crap, you do it on purpose, toward the direction of your design, your identity, your prayer, just your heart, you're seeking God first. When that happens, your results begin getting faster with what you want instead of less often or sporadic